have to bring it up and remove most byproducts. In the process, there is emissions of CO2, but less so than it would be with coal and oil. And natural gas is not only the gas, the methane gas, but also is biogas and landfill gas, both of which are now tapped into as an alternative source. This is all subject to much more learning and understanding, and the introduction, for instance, of gas that is produced from more challenging resources, because the good, easy to get to natural gas is already gone, are things like sour gas, tight gas, shale gas, and coal bed methane, all of which are very dangerous before they are dealt with, and increase the level of pollution in our world. We have to come to global warming when it comes to the environment, and take a look here at what we are dealing with. Greenhouse gases, which are the main cause for global warming, are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and other things. We burn the fossil fuels, as previously spoken about, which emit smoke. This gets trapped inside a thin atmospheric blanket around the Earth, and with sunshine it heats up. Under normal circumstances, and over many millions of years, this is exactly what we needed in order to live and plant and survive. But now what we're seeing is an increase in temperature, and just like the body is comfortable at a certain temperature and starts feeling more aggressed when the temperature rises, 0.75% degrees Celsius is not that dangerous yet, but with every additional notch of increased temperature, there comes greater discomfort, because we are infected at that point, and so is the Earth. So if we are talking about a change of 3/4 of a degree, that's a lot. Because what we think is that 1 kilometer of ice, when we had that in the last ice age, and we were covered here in North America with that, only required 3 degrees centigrade difference to today's average temperature. So you can see how very apropos these small values are, because they're not small at all, they're huge. Here is an example of how those global temperatures look, and while we can probably, with some doubting scientists, argue whether this is totally correct, what we see is the pattern. The 5-year average is following the annual average, but the annual is more extreme, this being temperatures, of course, and we go for the average on a 5-year cost. So off we go all the way up to 0.5 degrees, 0.6 degrees on an annual basis. Okay. I don't want to leave you without giving hope and speaking of action that is taken. This is very exciting, because we are having a much larger and much more committed group of people, organizations, NGOs, government agencies, scientists, public figures involved in contemplating and coming up with solutions for this global warming trend. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is partly the topic of Greenpeace, a presentation that will take place next month. So I invite you to come and have a look at that as well. And in the meanwhile, we all know how public figures have taken on this cause and have made names for themselves, whether this be somebody like Al Gore or David Suzuki or Tim Flannery or a wonderful woman whose name I forgot. She is a Indian scientist who has been in the forefront of seed preservation and climate change struggles in India. So here again, as caretakers of our environment and of our planet, is how I want us to think of these issues. We are talking about oil now, oil in ways that is just, we talk about the addiction to oil, we talk about the great capacity that petroleum has in terms of what it can give us. We talk of our dependence. We also know that we have been using oil in such a unreflected and unlimited way that we know that many of the easy to get to sources for oil will not be available for the generation following the next. Yes, there is still oil there, but just like tar sands show in Alberta, Canada, it is not easy to get to, it is expensive to extract, and what happens is that we need a lot more energy to create energy. So organically speaking, oil is carbon, is particles, comes from organic sources with high carbon and hydrogen content. It is found in Saudi Arabia, in Russia, the US, Iran, and China. It is probably a substance that has been part of geopolitical intrigue, including wars, and if not then it could still be the case in the future. We refine it, we distill it, we use it as heavy crude, we use it as diesel, we use it as light amber oil for petrochemicals, and of course we use it as gasoline. What is made of it? Just about anything and everything. I've been searching here. 4,000 articles of various nature can be made or are made from petrochemical byproducts, such as fertilizer, antifreeze, bubblegum, dishwashing liquids, deodorant, eyeglasses, tires, ammonia, and heart valves. Yeah, so, and it produces 90% of the greenhouse gases. Just to give you more good news, supposedly oil is running out in 43 years, gas in 167, and coal in 417. So it's not an infinite source. It reminds us of what we put into our car every time we turn it on. And the other day I bought a piece of plastic that used to cost 99 cents, and now I paid $9.99 for it. This is the first time that I really recognized that the price of petroleum products is going up. We are moving right along and come to the more information here on the CO2 emissions that we spoke about earlier. Take a look at the right side here, United States, Australia, Canada, and the highest user or producer of CO2 emissions. Japan, UK, and France are sort of in the middle level, and then the columns that are green are of the developing world, and here we have Libya,